Well, as we head to 4 o'clock on this Thursday afternoon, it is now a done deal. The CU Board of Regents making it official within the last hour. The CU Buffaloes are moving from the Pac-12 to the Big 12 next year, so it's no longer a rumor. It's another huge change in Boulder. In a year that has seen CU shake up the college sports landscape by hiring Deion Sanders, and a seismic shift now into the Big 12. Ariel Orsuto is in Boulder with the latest, and you've been talking about it since yesterday, so now it's official.
We certainly have, Kim, and it's not only just official, it's unanimous. The board voted to bring Colorado back to the Big 12 for the first time since 2010. They will be the 13th member of the Big 12. This move was made mostly for financial purposes. The Big 12 just signed a media rights agreement with both ESPN and Fox through 2031. The current deal gives each program over $31 million. CU will be included in that when they officially join in 2024. When Pac-12 didn't come up with a deal itself, this move became inevitable.
I think where we find ourselves today, and I'm going to support the resolution, is about the only place that we could find ourselves. I feel good about the work that's gone into it, the thought and the thoughtfulness that's gone into it, not only for our student athletes, but also for the growth of the University of Colorado.
Each one of the regions had a different thing to say about how they want to see this move go, whether it to be about mental health, about the students first, about their academics even. But obviously, athletics is at the forefront of this. We expect to be hearing from Rick George coming up soon, hopefully around 5 o'clock with a press conference here. We'll bring you that when we get that. Tom and Kim.
Ariel, obviously this is always, like all sports these days, about football. But this is going to have a big impact around all the athletics department, whether it's basketball or all the women's sports as well. Everybody's going to have to be ready to make some changes.
To be honest, I'm actually really excited to see how this does make changes for the basketball program, specifically the men's basketball program, as much as I love the women's basketball program, because you're now going to see KU at least once or twice a year. That's not only Tad Boyle's alma mater, it's one of the best basketball programs in the nation. They just won the national title 2 years ago, and they're obviously one of the best programs in the nation. The Big 12 has some of the best men's basketball programs. The Big 12 is actually pretty good in women's basketball as well. They're not the Pac-12. You're not going to see Stanford and UCLA like you've always seen, but it's going to be very competitive. It's going to be a great move for all of these teams.
Yeah,
you talked about money, but also would this impact recruiting then that way too as well?
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head right there, especially because Coach Prime said his best recruiting is done in Texas. Well, you've got Texas, you've got TCU, you've got all those schools down there. They're going to be seeing all of this time. So while you're there, you could do your recruiting. I mean, this is a hotbed. The Big 12 is where you're getting all of your players from. I think that the Kansas, the Texas, that whole area, the Iowa, all of that really is what makes up these teams here. I think this is actually a hotbed for recruiting. California, of course, has so much talent, but I don't think the top tier California players were coming here. They were typically picking UCLA, USC, who won't even be here anymore anyway, or the Oregons of the world. And so I think this is actually going to be such a tool for recruiting, Kim. That was a great question.
Yeah, you talk about these rivalries, though. You get it back to seeing Kansas twice a year on the basketball floor, see them in football as well. But I was looking back to today. I saw Dave Logan today, and we were talking about 1947 when CU went into the Big 6 to make it the Big 7 until 58. That's when Oklahoma State came in. And now CU makes it the Big 13, actually, right? Since we're trying to have college kids who can do numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I admittedly was not alive in 47 or even in the 50s, but so I can't speak to those specific rivalries. But I mean, all of the teams you just mentioned, I really honestly can't wait to see these teams both on the gridiron, on the basketball court, even just some of the other Olympic sports. I think this is going to be very competitive. Even BYU just joined the Big 12. I think that's going to be a really good one for football as well. I think this is going to be very interesting, guys.
A lot to digest, a lot to think about. We're going to see at 5 o'clock with more, including maybe some of that press conference as well coming up. Ariel, thanks for covering the story. Thanks for bringing us the latest. Well, after all the rain this spring and summer, Colorado is drying out. And now we're seeing more fire activity around the state, including a new fire now burning north of Strasburg. And the smoke could be seen from DIA today. Sky 9 flew near that scene earlier today, spotting some of that scorched ground. We're still trying to determine which fire departments are responding here and possibly how that one started.
A fire that started yesterday in Gunnison County has grown to 681 acres, about 1 square mile. The low-lying fire is burning 11 miles southwest of Crested Butte. Firefighters say it's threatening about 10 buildings. We're told people near the fire have been told to evacuate. They think lightning got this one started. Firefighters say it's burning through heavy dead and down timber. So far, there is no containment.
Another hot day in the metro area. As you can see, a lot of blue sky up over the city right now. So let's get over to Kathy. We're talking about those conditions which are still evolving, and in most cases that means things are drying out.
Absolutely, and especially across the western slope and in some of those western valleys, we're seeing extremely dry conditions. They haven't seen the daily showers and thunderstorms that we've seen here in Denver, and a lot of the storm coverage has been all about wind and lightning and not the rain. Outside in Denver now, another warm summer day. Temperatures back in the 90s this afternoon. The record today, 98. So far, 95 at DIA, 96 in Pueblo, close to 100 in Grand Junction. Tinder dry out there, not just in the Gunnison County area, but now in Denver, Greeley, Fort Collins, and out on the eastern plains. Storms are moving from the west to the east. We've got a cluster down along the Colorado-New Mexico line, also outside of Colorado Springs, north of Fort Collins and outside Vail, and you'll notice a lot of lightning with these storms as they track to the east. Still waiting to see if one or two of these storms will make it over the Denver metro area. One cell near Penrose, Colorado Springs, and Florence did have some hail in it, went severe last hour. So far, so good in Denver. Still think we're going to see a storm roll through between now and about 6:30. Storm Prediction Center does not have Denver in the outlook for hail-producing storms, but damaging wind and lightning certainly something we're talking about. And in that Gunnison County area, there is an air quality and health advisory due to extensive wildfire smoke. So those with respiratory issues and that are sensitive to that, please be very careful throughout tonight and tomorrow. So an isolated gusty storm possible in Denver yet tonight. Temperatures are very warm. We'll see them continue in the 90s until about 8 o'clock tonight. And coming up, we're going to take another look at the radar. We've got warm weather heading into the weekend, but the trend will be for cooler weather and some rain moving into the middle part of next week. So lots to talk about in weather just ahead.
All right, thank you, Kathy. We turn now to a Fort Morgan man now facing first-degree murder charges after allegedly killing a Sterling woman in Missouri. Investigators say Sarah Tafoya was reportedly listed as missing in early May, but weeks later her body was found in a wooded area north of Kansas City.
9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry spoke to her family in Salida. They are heartbroken over the news.
Old photos bring a lot into focus, but they can't share just how lively Harmony Hartraneff's sister was.
Vivacious.
It's still not easy to talk about.
Yeah.
But Harmony hopes sharing all the happiness Sarah Tafoya brought into her world will dissolve all the pain.
She was a force to be reckoned with. She was a really good mom. I don't want to paint a fairy tale. My sister struggled with substance abuse, but this wasn't what happened to her was not because of her poor decisions.
Missouri State Highway Patrol announced the arrest of Benjamin Simmons this week. Authorities say Simmons confessed he killed Sarah and left her body in a wooded area in Clay County, just north of Kansas City. Harmony says she knew of Simmons.
Yes, it was her boyfriend. It was the person she was traveling home with to Colorado.
He was not a good person at all, and I was telling her to please get away from him.
Jasmine Johnson was Sarah's best friend. She says she spoke to Sarah the week before her death. So did Harmony.
She needed help, and she was stuck there, and she was scared. And it was the first time that I felt like I heard my sister, in a long time.
Sarah may have never made it home, but Harmony vows her memory will always be here. Because losing Sarah made one thing clear.
If you care about someone, you love someone, don't let their choices define how you love them.
Because of the investigation, Sarah's family says they have not been able to bring her body home. In the meantime, they are raising funds to give Sarah proper service when the time comes. Kim.
That will be nice. And that is spoken like the love of a family. We can't judge anyone's choices. We all make poor choices at times.
Yeah, we talked extensively over that no one is perfect, right? And we all love each other no matter what. And just because she did have some problems, her family says she did not deserve this.
No, not at all. Thank you, Jaleesa.
The Amber Alert for a missing 2-month-old girl is over. Police have found her safe. They've also arrested her parents in the Denver area. The Pueblo County Sheriff says her parents, Ashley Ardolino and Luis Novella Rojas, took her yesterday in Pueblo County. Now, the young girl had been staying with another family member after her mother had made disturbing comments. Deputies say the parents took her after a fight with the family. Denver police say they arrested Novella Rojas in Arvada last night. They say they first spotted him in a stolen vehicle in East Denver and then tracked the car to Arvada. Police say he ran from the car, got into a home and hid. They searched the home and arrested him, and police say they found the mother and baby girl in a motel off 70 in Peoria this morning. Both parents have outstanding warrants that were unrelated to the Amber Alert.
A Denver police officer caught on camera slamming a man to the ground and knocking him out is now facing charges. This happened the same night that Nuggets fans celebrated the NBA championship. Denver's DA has charged Adam Glaspie with second-degree assault with intent to cause serious injuries. He was working off-duty with another officer June 12th at a bar in Lodo. They saw a group of men fighting outside. Prosecutors say Glaspie pulled Elijah Smith away from the others and slammed him to the ground. The slam knocked Smith out. An affidavit says Smith suffered a traumatic brain injury and nerve damage. The affidavit says that Glaspie did not call for an ambulance and did not report it until the next morning. A Halo camera captured Smith throwing a punch during the fight.